Hello and welcome to another episode of the Game Theory Podcast. We are talking about, well, first this is going to be the news and reviews, but the main topic is going to be about balance. Pretty popular topic. Yeah, we had a question on like in the Facebook page about it, and that's really how it came up. But I guess I can introduce that later. First of all, David, how have you been?
Well, I've been fantastic. We have a snow day tomorrow, so my spirits are at an all-time high.
Sweet. I didn't know they had those in Colorado. I thought those were just called days.
Yeah. Well, this is surprisingly our first one this year. Like, we've had a lot of bad snowy weather, but there's just been 2-hour delays. But we're going to actually have a legit snow day.
I'm so sick of 2-hour delays, man. That's like what the University of Arkansas or University of Mississippi pulls out, man. Like we just had like two of those. We had a 2-hour day, and then here's what's funny. Throughout the whole day, they kept sending like weather updates. They were like, "It's going to get better. It's going to get better," and it wasn't because it was still bad. We had freezing rain everywhere. I mean, just everything was covered in ice, like everything, just a thick sheet of ice. Because it doesn't snow down here. No, God hates Mississippi, so it just pisses ice. And there was no beautiful snow. It's just you get hit on the neck because like no matter how much you bundle up for this like to try not to get precipitated on, it's gonna happen. So it hits your neck and it's like someone throwing a little piece of ice down your back. Oh gosh, it's so horrible. But anyway, so I run in, try not to slip, and throughout the day they keep sending updates like it's gonna get better. It never did. And then they were like, just kidding, it won't. We're gonna close the university at 4, and this was at 3:15, and I was like, cute, great. It closes at 5 anyway, so screw you. But anyway, and on the way home, I got home quick, thank goodness, because there was a wreck right afterwards on my road, and then there was like a whole Facebook page that was tracking all the wrecks across the city. I was like, I hate you, university. You're the worst.
I'm surprised God hates Mississippi. They've got the second highest self-reported attendance rates of church. 47% say they go once a week.
Yeah, it's true. We are the most religious state.
Well, second most. Utah has 51%.
Sorry, I didn't mean to claim that. We are the most in most of those categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, my advisor, is one of those demographics guys. He does epidemiology and large scale statistics over time and stuff. And so he always quotes the the sad facts about Mississippi.
Of which there are many.
Yeah. There was one point where he was like, oh hey, so just to let you guys know, we officially moved down to 51 or 52, I think he said. And I was like, what do you mean? In which category? And he goes, it's for education. So one of those ahead of us is Guam. Guam has school outside, so they don't have buildings. We're worse than them. So anyway, it's usually safe to assume you're last in everything in Mississippi. He went down a big list one time, and that was just off the top of his head.
Obesity, teen pregnancy. It's a fun state.
We're good at what we do, which just suck. But anyway, yeah. So the weather has been horrible, and we got a bunch of these 2-hour things. But it sounds like you finally got the real deal.
It's the real deal, and I've never been happier. It's great.
What are you gonna do with your day?
I don't know. I can't really go anywhere because the roads are so bad. So probably just play video games and eat junk food because I'm out of real food.
No, yeah, that sounds like every day for me. No, definitely not anymore. There was a time, man. Jeez, being an undergraduate was great. God,
Yeah.
you don't have to do homework. You go to class. Sometimes you can make your schedule so you only did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or only Tuesday, Thursday. And then
It
you
really
get
is the best 4 to 6 years of your life.
4 to 6 exactly. And then depending on your graduate school, it gets a lot worse or a little worse or somewhere in between.
A lot of people go to school for 8 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
Whatever. Shut up. Shut up, Richard.
Oh,
Well,
could I be the first to wish you a happy Ninja Day?
you would be the first, yes. I did not know about this. This is the thing?
There's a holiday in Japan called National Ninja Day. It's a kind of a play on words. It's a holiday based on a pun because it's 2/22, February 22nd, and 2 in Japanese is ni, so it's ni, and that's like the ni in ninja. So they made a whole holiday after that.
Okay, all right. That's pretty weird. Are there festivities? Are there parades where they just go down? No, it would just be the parade floats because you couldn't see the people.
Right, they're all hiding behind the floats.
That would be an awesome parade. They should do that.
Just these mystic floats moving of their own accord.
Yeah.
No, it's they do dress as ninjas when they go to work. Some of them, it's not an official state holiday, but it's just one of those. It's like our Talk Like a Pirate Day, only they actually dress like ninjas, and they make origami throwing stars and the whole banners everywhere that say Ninja Day. It's pretty fun. I kind of wish I was there right now.
Oh man, yeah, we got those in Mississippi too. We're also interesting, except we just call them. No, actually, no jokes aside. Do you ever do Mardi Gras? Have you ever been curious about that?
No, I don't even keep track of it. It's one of those moving holidays like Easter, where if you're not like into the holiday, you don't know when it's gonna be.
Oh, is that how it works? I don't even know. Like, it's a huge thing down here, man. Like, because we're right next to Louisiana.
Right.
People were like, well, can you even get any work done over the weekend? I was like, yeah, why? What's going on? Is someone dying? And they're like, no, it's Mardi Gras. And I was like, oh, you mean like the beads and throwing stuff and showing boobs? And they're like, no, no, not that. Mardi Gras for real. And I was like, oh, I didn't know it was anything but that. I'm sorry. It's like a whole thing, man. People do like floats and like just you get beads, like that's a thing. I don't know, but not the boobs. That's just mostly Bourbon Street, I guess.
Yeah, and it not only does it move, it's not only is it a movable feast, but it also depends on which flavor of like Catholic you are. Like if you're Anglican, they have a different Ash Wednesday than Roman Catholic, and I don't know. I was talking to a coworker. She was trying to explain to me because she was giving up like staying late and grading papers for Lent, and she was trying to like walk me through the whole thing. But yeah, these lunar holidays, man, like I just can't keep track of them. I don't even know when Easter is anymore. Like since I stopped being part of a family that like does the whole Easter egg thing.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm living on my own and I'm not like remotely interested in like what day the Jesus brought all the rabbits back to life or whatever you're celebrating for Easter.
Have you seen the Eddie Izzard part on that?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, talk about holidays. It's pretty hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know it was a thing.
When I start seeing the Cadbury cream eggs show up at Walmart, it gives me a clue it's coming, and it's probably my favorite time of the year. I love those things.
Those things are good, man. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, it's like a whole thing. I made it all the way till high school before I saw someone put that little gray T, the little cross on their head, little ash.
Little ash.
Yeah, like I made it till I think my junior year, senior year, because I don't know. I guess I never saw any Catholics that observed it.
Yeah,
So
I probably didn't see any Catholics at all. It was Mountain Home, so if you weren't Baptist, then you just stayed to yourself.
yeah, that's true. Actually, they had a little St. Thomas thing. There was a few people that were a part of it. I guess they just didn't put the ashes on their head. But down here, people aren't big on the ashes either. It's just all about Mardi Gras. It's like I think it's more of a Southern culture thing.
Yeah.
At least Louisiana. And spills over here to Mississippi. So yeah, a ton of people went out there, did that whole thing. And I can't help but think like, I'm always like, don't end up on the internet when they go, because I don't know. For me, it always associates with just people flashing each other. I thought that was the whole point of it. I thought it was like a bro holiday, like Panama Beach on spring break, bro. One of those.
Yeah, let's go to Cancun, bro.
Dude, I know. I had such a hard time going to Cancun. I went there for my honeymoon and have been like 7 times since then, because it was great. I mean, if there are dude bro times to go, but if you don't, it's just gorgeous. Anyway. But yeah, that's been a thing. Mardi Gras down here, the icy storms, and it's freaking freezing. So crazy.
Sounds delightful. I like Mississippi because it's either freezing with ice storms or it's incredibly hot and muggy with mosquitoes. So really, no matter what time of the year, it's a terrible time to be in Mississippi.
Yeah, you guys came down here for summer, and you're like, I gotta want to go outside.
Yeah, you're like, you want to go for a run or something? Want to go for a nature walk? I was like, no, don't want to be outside. What's wrong with your state?
Nature's neat. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty neat. Look out for mountain lions and biting goats.
Biting goats? Yeah, we just found this a YouTube channel basically that's it's called Nature Walks, like Nature. And it's just like a funny thing. I think the first one's really funny, then after that it starts falling off, but it's worth checking out. You guys should go listen to that. It's funny. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I guess that's pretty much what's up for the week. I'm ready to move into the news if you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, recent news. This is the recent news portion, of course. That's why I said recent news at the beginning. I don't usually do that in other parts. So, yeah, it's been kind of a lulzy one. I know that before the show we actually caught our eye before this. Do you want to introduce it? Because this is a strange blending of Kanye, or I already gave it away, but pop culture and.
I'm gonna let you finish, but first I want to tell you that Kanye West made the news today.
Yeah, the gaming news.
Yeah, so Kanye West, budding game developer, as we found out in an interview he recently gave. But let's talk about the first game he tried to make before we talk about the one he's making now.
Tell me about that game. So this is back in the era of like Nintendo, right? NES.
Yeah, this was back when he was like 12, I think he was designing this. So it was very sexual. Basically, it was Mario Brothers, but with penises and vaginas. So the main character.
That's how he explained it.
Yeah, I'm not. You can't. The thing about Kanye West is he's either insane or a genius, but either way, I can't replicate the things he would say, so I just have to quote him.
Yeah, it's like Mario Brothers, but with penises and vaginas.
So I'll just put it in his own words. My game was very sexual. The main character was like a giant penis. It was like Mario Brothers, but the ghosts were like vaginas. Mind you, I'm 12 years old, and this is stuff 30-year-olds are programming. I don't know why he thinks 30-year-olds are programming penis and vagina ghosts, but anyway, back to the quote. You'd have to draw in and program every little step. It literally took me all night to do a step because the penis, had little feet and eyes. That's the best. I can't even make a better. I cannot string words together and make that better than what he just did off the top of his head. He's a genius or insane.
I think he is insane. I think he's just stupid, and his mom told him he'd be amazing. It's kind of like I heard something on Hardcore History, Dan Carlin's podcast, that I thought was crazy, and I've thought about it a lot since then. And it was the fact that he talks about history being seen through two different lenses, the whole zeitgeist and the Aurageist or something, and I don't remember. Anyway, but it's like some people believe that like great men come because they're great men or great women, but typically this is history. We only talk about the men. Great people theory. Then there's like one that's like, no, it's not great people. It's actually just a product of its time. Like Hitler is not a great man, but he was a great in the sense of a historical figure. He came because of the oppression of the First World War and how they got shat on. It was one of those like.
This theory would be like, even if Hitler hadn't risen to power, a Hitler would have come to power because the conditions had a Hitler.
Someone would have, and it's just really unfortunate that he blamed the Jews and anyone that looked different than him. But someone was going to come for Germany's kind of like being really hurt over the First World War and being taken unfairly. And so when he was talking about that, he said he talked about Napoleon, who was a huge figure, right? Mm-hmm. And they said that his mom in history books, they or at least one historian was talking about how his mom used to wake him up every day by saying, "Wake up, the world is waiting on you to do great things." It's something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And she'd say that every morning since he was a little baby. And he heard that every single day of his life to the point where he believed he was some kind of messiah, basically, right? Which could explain some messianic figures in the past. People who believe themselves to be prophets and end up being crazy or whatever, or being prophets if you believe that. But so that's what I think what happened with Kanye, because his mom is like thinks he's way cooler than he is, and she'd always thought that. I kind of think that was what's going on, because now he thinks he's a genius. And I don't know if you saw this SNL. Did you see the Saturday Night Live 40th episode?
No.
No, they had a big special going on. Anyway, like all these people came in from the old cast, and they all did like their skits again and stuff. It's pretty funny. Like Wayne's World, they did that again. But the musical artist, one of them was Kanye. And I was like, what? And it was you need to go watch it. He just lays on the ground for the first one, and he wears like yellow-colored contacts, and he whispers into his microphone. It's crazy. It's crazy. And
so speaking of crazy, should we talk about his latest game he's working on?
It's not going to be a sequel to the first hit.
The first hit, Penis Man versus the Vagina Ghosts.
Vagina Ghosts, and I don't know if you remember this. There aren't any ghosts in Mario Brothers 1, but must be talking about 2.
Yeah, or 3.
3, yeah.
Little backstory. His mother died in 2007 because of an artery disease, which was complicated by plastic surgery. It was like this big thing. This game is called, his own words are better than anything I could do. Okay. So right now I'm working on a video game for only one. The idea is, it's my mother going through the gates of heaven, and you have to bring her to the highest gate of heaven by holding her to the light. We've been working on it for like 6 months.
First of all, what are the mechanics involved in that? Because, so you've got a strong narrative, right? You've got good visuals, great. Yeah, no, you don't have a strong narrative, but you've got a narrative. Someone's like kind of moving in heaven. What is the gameplay mechanics of that? And where does the penises and vaginas fit in?
So I was kind of picturing like one of those. What was that? Like R-Force, where you're just like a ship and you're going from left to right, and like instead of shooting aliens, you're trying to stay inside this light that's like bringing her into heaven. So you have to like match yourself to where the light is.
Right, it's a dick-shaped ship, right?
It's no, you're a Kanye's dead mom becoming an angel.
Yeah, but
But
maybe she's inside of it. But he's got to use old textures. He just said it took him forever to animate those. So.
I just love that. Like, now this is like what 30-year-olds are programming. I was 12 when I was making my ghosts and vaginas.
Oh my god.
Oh,
And why,
Kanye.
why dicks and vaginas? Why? Why would you do that? Like that's
What
not
else?
even an interesting game.
12-year-old boy. Like that's literally the only thing they think about.
No. Whenever I was 12, I used to draw pictures of like Star Wars ships and stuff. Like, yeah, of course I was like, like horny all the time and whatnot and zit faced. But no. Anyway, I don't. Kanye's a freak. He's weird.
It's just.
But anyway,
It's.
do you
It's
think this is
fun
gonna hit
times.
the main markets?
Maybe he'll take a page from his wife and release it to iOS.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do because he's got a following. I don't understand any of them, but I'm sure they'd buy it. No
Yeah.
matter what's on there.
More people follow him than he's. I don't know. That's something I always think is funny about American culture is like the Kim Kardashians and the Kanye West have just people hanging on their every word on Twitter. It's like the way the French treated Jean-Paul Sartre when he was alive. Like they were like, "Oh, he's such a philosopher. Let's see what his opinion is on everything," and they'd always like want him to weigh in on things. That's how we treat Kim Kardashian.
Oh no, that's okay. So I've mentioned a couple times, but on Reddit they had a name some weird thing. Hi, I'm an American or whatever. Name some weird things that that other countries think about us from your country. Just something weird. And a lot of people are like, well, the penal system is privatized. That's pretty shitty. The fact lobbyists are shitty or not shitty. They're just like, what's up with that? How do you get away with that? Other people like direct to consumer,
Marketing of
marketing.
of
Yeah,
medicine.
medicine. Yeah, why are you going to your doctor and being like, I think I need Abilify? They're like, why? You're depressed. And you're like, yeah, but the commercial said if I'm depressed, I should ask about it. And then he's like, yeah, but there aren't any studies to show that it's at all efficacious. And they're like, yeah, but I kind of want it. And if I'm not, I might go to another doctor. And they're like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to give it to you because I can't lose patients. So, all right, whatever. It's crazy. But one of them was that. It said why is America so obsessed with following people on Twitter that are just celebrities? All they do is act, or maybe they're just
Or they're just
parents are
famous for being famous.
yeah, and they said the top three followed people in France are two scientists and a statesman or something like that. Like she named them, but she's like, why would you guys want their opinions on anything? And I was like, I didn't know that wasn't a thing anywhere else. So
Yeah, I just assumed everybody was vapid.
yeah, that's crazy. So Kanye West apparently is going to be able to push this thing because we're like that.
Yeah. America, fuck yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty hilarious that you brought that up. One that I have is one of the greatest things about the internet, and I've said this a couple times. I said this on the Facebook page, is that it brings these small like sub demographics together across the internet, right? Like I can't remember the context in the Facebook page. I think it was it was the Star Fox thing. Somebody put up a Star Fox replication almost, but with real foxes.
Oh
and
yeah,
real animals.
that Nerdist, like where they're making a trailer for like a J.J. Abrams Star Fox.
yeah, and the animals were real. Well, I was like, that's great. Who in their right mind has enough skill to like pull this off with the technical effects and everything that they did, and then also has all of these real animals, like a real fox and a real little bird, and like a real like stupid toad to just sit there, like.
And also has the shared experience of like knowing all the do a barrel roll, Fox, get this guy off me quotes from Star Fox 64.
Yeah, who's so passionate about the Star Fox, and that they're also sitting around with like, what am I gonna do with my small zoo? Oh my god! And then they just do it, right? Well, this is another example of this news item. So I like the UFC, right? I like fighting. I've been a martial artist most of my life, and there was a fighter. I don't know if you saw this. It wasn't the UFC, but it was a Pride fight, or I can't remember what league it was. But this guy, they're in a fight. They're going, and he kind of tags him, and the guy gets hit. Right? I think he just clipped him with a lucky one on the chin. And the guy kind of falls back, and he's staggering. He hits the cage. And this is the time you go. Like if you're gonna win a fight, this is how you do it. You run up, you just start hitting him as much as you can, and if they don't
he's
fight,
off balance, he's on his back.
yeah, and then the ref will jump in between that, and then you get your whatever $50,000, $180,000, $5 million, however much you're fighting for. That's when you get it. This guy gave up the opportunity to secure that, to stop, look at the guy, and then go Hadouken, like just throw a Hadouken at him, and then back up, and then let him get back up. That was like possibly $50,000 Hadouken. I could not believe it when I saw it. I was
Worth
like,
every penny.
that's hilarious. I really hope he went on to win that fight, because otherwise he's gonna be like, nah, it probably wasn't worth that. Because now I got like $25,000. Probably would have liked the 50, but I thought that was hilarious. For someone who, like myself, who rarely sees those two things mixed, and you never expect the kind of, the mixture of those two, a nerd that is also UFC. There's only one other one that I'm aware of. It's Ronda Rousey. She's the top female champion. She was like a Pokemon master when she was a kid, like on the forums and everything. It was hilarious. So other than her, I didn't know that nerd fighters existed besides, I guess, myself, but I'm not a professional fighter.
That's like the best thing was if you read the comments of that page, it's people are arguing over whether it's a Hadouken or a Sub-Zero like freeze blast.
Oh, that would have been hilarious to freeze him in place and then he goes and finishes them off. That would have been awesome. Oh, or if you did this little slide. God, I hated that slide.
So
I'm gonna bring that slide up in the rest of the in the main portion. There's something about that slide I want to talk about.
Nice.
But anyway, go ahead.
So this next story has something to do with classical conditioning and also inhumane self-abuse. So there's this YouTube guy called Martin Amboss TV Rabble, and he plays a lot of FIFA 15, and he has what we call gamer rage. You know, where you just get super mad and you start yelling at the screen, flailing, wailing, gamer rage. We've all seen it.
Pause a minute. Did you ever have that when you were a kid?
No, I never.
Me neither.
I've been frustrated before. I'm like, like if I'm playing a phone game or something, but I've never actually gotten angry.
Me neither. I remember all those kids who used to like break their controllers and get in trouble. I never struggled with that. So.
This guy does, though, and he's found a way to stop himself. He has a shock collar strapped to his neck. It's one of those things that keep dogs from barking. So whenever he gets too loud, he gets a shock. And like you can watch him in this video, and he's just like, and he like falls back to his pain.
Oh,
like you can see his face like tighten up in pain. He like falls over.
He put it on himself?
Yeah, he put it on himself. You know, he's trying to stop the game rage, and you don't have to pass it by an ethical committee if you're just doing it to yourself on a YouTube channel. So
that's hilarious. Well, there's two ways that psychology that we interact with people and change these sorts of things. There's the thoughts and then there's the behaviors. This is definitely straight up behavioral approach where you're like, oh, okay, I'll shock you, or you could do reinforcement rather. So subsequent lengthy times that you go without raging, you get some prize. But the cognitive route would obviously be to teach them how to anger management, But
no, this is way more fun. I think everyone that plays online games should have to wear one of these collars.
We should put one of those on JT. He rages a little bit. Dude, I don't understand. This guy, this is proof that League of Legends can ruin anyone. Because we used to play basketball, and he was known as like the nicest guy. He was smiling throughout the whole thing, whether we were losing or winning. And we would come down on ourselves like Garrett would. He'd always be like, Garrett was like our 6'6", like major player, right? He was like in high school kind of killing it. And he'd come down on himself and he's like, damn it, I missed that shot. Fuck, and JT be like, hey, it's okay, man, it's just a game, it's cool. And there's a lot more on the line of those basketball games than there were League of Legends. But then now we play Heroes of the Storm and he comes in and he gets so upset so quickly.
Yes, he gets very angry. It's very out of character for him. It's just this weird League of Legends learned behavior that's just changed the way he plays competitively now.
Yeah, I guess we've talked about that before, how that is fostered and kind of conditioned, but I don't know. I don't care for it. There was an article, speaking of which, if you're done with that one.
Yeah.
There was an article that that caught my eye and I want to talk about, but it's not the content of what they said. It's something entirely different. The guy is talking about how to save the term gamer, which I'm actually interested in. I like impression management, but this guy, he was like how to save the term gamer, and then like he kept going and like talking about how like it's been tainted and the things to do to the rest is fine, but that mentality, I was like, what are you talking about? I don't think gamer's been ruined. I think maybe he's buying too much into this Gamergate thing, but gamer is still a pretty good term.
It's kind of an echo chamber. Like people who spend a lot of time reading articles like we do online are going to get an idea that gamer is like a now shunned thing because misogyny or racism or homophobia. But I think if you just talk to a normal person on the street, they're not going to be like, "Oh, you're a gamer? Oh, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. You're probably racist."
That's exactly where I was going with that. I think that it's that. Whenever I read that, I was just like, maybe those. So Gamergate, like I guess those guys apparently, we did a whole episode, figuring this shit out because we had never heard of it before then. But
right.
They all started out with this whole journalism thing being like they're just too intertwined with each other, and I've seen that too. Like bloggers, like I've seen how they'll pass each other articles and things. So it's a lot of your information's getting kind of disseminated. So it's really just it's kind of corrupted in the sense that it's all got one spin on it. Well, I thought about that here. I was like, maybe those guys had a point, not their methodology and how they're doing things and how it turns out that a lot of them were dicks, but like the original idea that like maybe we should look at our gaming journalism. I think that might be a thing. We're gonna have to wait a little while now because it got totally screwed. But I'm just saying that maybe up in the future, once this becomes like less of a thing and we can get normal ass people behind that idea, that we should talk about that, because I see a lot of reviews that are the same way, and then I see a lot of like news items that is on the same spin on it, and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Kind of an echo chamber, yeah. I never buy a game on the recommendation of like an IGN or a Kotaku. Like, if I read a good review for something, I'm like, okay, cool, but I wait until like an independent person like Pro Jared or someone on YouTube like will review the game, and then I'm like, okay, I actually have a lot more faith in Pro Jared's taste in games because I know he's just a guy making a YouTube channel. He's not like he's not in this umbrella of gaming media.
Is that the guy who we watched the Dying Light of one? That's pretty hilarious. The high octane caffeinated thing, or is that Angry Centaur?
I think that's Angry Scimitars.
Angry Centaur, yeah. It's that guy, Angry Centaur Gaming. That guy's hilarious, guys. You guys need to go check him out if you're looking for gaming reviews. He does it real fast, and there's like jokes in there, but they just keep coming so fast that like you find yourself laughing after he's already started his new point. And it's quick, it's down and dirty, and he splits it up, and then he says, would you, like get it, rent it, buy it or whatever, or wait for it to go on sale or something like that. He has like a real no-nonsense metric, which I like. So if you're looking for reviews, go check that out. That guy's pretty good, and he's funny. But anyway, that was all the stuff in the news from me. Did you have any other articles?
Yeah, I got one more. Remember, I bought Assassin's Creed Unity when it came out, and I kind of gave up playing it because I got overwhelmed with all the chests and things on the map that I couldn't unlock, and I just felt like there was just too much for me to like. I'm a completionist, so if I can't unlock all the chests, I don't want any of them.
Gotcha.
And finally, Assassin's Creed Unity has dropped the app and web requirements for unlock. So when it first came out, in order to unlock these chests, you had to like have your character synced up with like a web page that rarely worked, and you had to have the iOS or Android app that would like you'd play it on your free time and it would unlock chests for you. Like there was all these extra hoops you had to jump through to get to the chest. So the chest would be something stupid like 200 francs, and you're like, oh, good. Worth it, but to me it was worth it because it got it off the map. It was off the mini map, so I didn't have to see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they finally like took that away, and now you can just unlock all the chests like a normal Assassin's Creed game.
Well, good. That was pretty ridiculous. I've heard a lot of people were kind of feeling a lot like Kanye West. They were overwhelmed with the amount of booty.
Exactly. Exactly. I felt like I was a little penis man just getting raped by Assassin's Creed Unity. So
it's just like Assassin's Creed Unity. That's what it should, new game should be. Just like Assassin's Creed, but with penises and vaginas.
Kanye West, I actually go back and finish it now that I'm no longer locked out of half the content.
Oh my gosh. See, so music is kind of subjective, right? As it turns out, we don't have an innate like perfect, like, or there's no innate good or bad kinds of music. We just have preferences. So it's kind of a subjective field. So things like Kanye can get away in places like that. But video games, there's some criteria that are objective, even though some are subjective. So whenever he tries to bring that brilliance over here, we kind of see it through a clearer lens. You're actually just a goddamn idiot. Oh, I love it. But anyway, yeah, good. But that's your last item?
Yeah.
Did you say you're going to be playing it more now, or?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go back to it now that it's no longer. Now that my OCD isn't gonna like ruin the game for me by having all these chests I can't open.
Well, if you can peel yourself away from this new game, which we're gonna be talking about in the next section. Oh, that transition. See you on the other side.
Gaming reviews.
All right, this is the game review section where we're going to be talking about a game that we recently played. What is that game?
H1Z1. This comes from JT, friend of the show. He actually even bought me a copy because he was like, "You gotta play this game," and I was like, "I don't have any money," and he's like, "Here's the game, play it." So thank you, JT, for that. Now, I was initially very skeptical. Why was I skeptical, Jeremiah? Perhaps
we've been burned in the past.
We've been burned a lot in the past.
Our sweet love of just killing zombies together.
It's so hard to find a game that makes killing zombies together not horrifyingly horrific. And this game started off pretty tortuous because I couldn't get in. It's in the pre-alpha, so pretty
That did not
buggy.
bode well.
It's like, oh, this is flashing me back to DayZ.
Yeah, we played DayZ. We played
Dead
both,
Island.
Yeah, Dead Island. We played Left 4 Dead, which was good, especially the first one. Then the second one kind of shitty. What else have we played together? Zombie. There's been feels like so many. Just anytime like State of Decay, I bought that. Like anytime a new zombie game comes out with co-op, we're buying it.
Yeah, because like many people, we constantly fantasize about a zombie outbreak wiping out most of humanity, and the four of us are the survivors that get by on our wits and grit.
Okay.
Which is a really sociopathic fantasy to have, but I think it's also a very common one.
Yeah. I started to become really interested in the series. Well, actually, there was 2 times I really thought it was cool. One was my my lit professor, changing the world, man. You lit people. I was like, I don't get zombies. I don't get zombies. I don't get vampires. I don't get werewolves. I don't know. And then he said he said no, it's not. Those aren't in the same category. And I said, well, yeah, it is. It's media like shitty
monsters
like bad guys
that want to eat you.
Yeah, that want to eat you or suck your blood, right? Or change you. And he says, because I was thinking like form and function, and he said, he goes, no, that's not it at all. That's not. You don't write a vampire movie the same way you do a zombie movie. And I said, what do you mean? Tell me more. And he said, I'm talking about like, he goes, zombies are not what kills you. A vampire kills you and a werewolf kills you, and they're scary. Zombies aren't scary. They're just a plot device. And I was like, what? And apparently he had wrote his thesis on this. And he goes, no, this is all about like. He said what it is it adds a very real threat to very normal psychological decisions. Like when we make decisions otherwise, there's no threat. It doesn't matter, right? And if an in-group and an out-group fight, who cares? But then you get movies like The Mist, for example, one of my favorite movies. You get these bugs out there, basically, that you never really see and you don't really interact with. You only see them whenever shit gets real. And, they end up throwing this guy out to him because he didn't fit in the group. And he threw him out to these
the zombies themselves are just a catalyst for changing the setting to making it a pre-Hobbesian kind of world, right? Like no longer do we have this Leviathan that can protect us. It's now nasty, brutish, and short, and life is tribal and horrible.
Yeah.
That's why movies like The Road don't even have zombies in them, but feel like a zombie movie.
Yeah, it does. And The Mist, the whole idea of The Mist was just that, a formless, faceless. It doesn't even matter. You don't need to see it. It just means out there and not in here with us. And it was brilliant. It was fucking brilliant. But anyway, the other time in my life that I thought, oh yeah, he told me about the zombies being that. And I thought, well, maybe that's a thing. So I started watching it. But then the reason why I got interested in like survival horror zombies is because 2 things. It's one thing really. Useless skills.
Yeah.
I growing up, like I took martial arts because I got picked on a lot, and I was a super nerd, and I was having anger problems at the time. Pretty.
You showed them. Now you have a video game podcast. Who's the nerd now?
Fuck you. We were making roads. I actually went the other day and looked one of the guys up on Facebook that was a dick to me, and he was a road worker, and I was like, yeah, get fucked. Like, still a sweet part of that, But anyway, I'm getting a PhD, bitch. But this in particular, like I learned how to, fight basically.
So he has a more fulfilling job than you right now.
Yeah, he does actually. I'm a graduate student. But anyway, I got into martial arts because I want to learn how to defend myself, And then, but what's funny is, as you grow older, that becomes, you just don't fight anymore. We're adults. You yell at each other maybe, like at some dude if he's acting like a douche. But I don't fight anymore. The closest I got to fighting was at the club the other day, and I yelled at that dude and he backed down. Like we don't fight because we're adults, and you go to jail if you do. So that became useless. Then I went to in the military, and then
I went to Army, mother.
I went to Army, mother. Did some. I went to survival school there. Learned some really cool skills. Never use them again. So now I'm just like, I want to use those. So I go camping sometimes and just like settle a trap. Just because I want to use it.
Do you remember when we were kids and it was all about like, yeah, if you get your Eagle Scout, you're gonna be so good at the outdoors. You're gonna be like such a master outdoorsman. I'm like, cool. So I did that, and now I'm like, well, I'm a master outdoorsman. Those skills immediately started to atrophy because they never come up again.
No, but you got to use it in the game. You're like, where's the moon? What time is it? And you're like, it's this way, because we actually lost our compasses. I was like, that's awesome.
I know. I was looking for the North Star, and I was like, I wonder if this is an accurate representation of the sky.
Yeah. Oh man, it was pretty fun.
So we've been playing. It was you, me, JT, and Tim, just our normal gaming quadre.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we start out, and it's like like it's another DayZ thing. We had a bad time logging in, and then we're on opposite sides of the map, and this map is massive. So I was already like, shit, man, this isn't gonna go well. And you've got nothing, and you're hungry, and you're thirsty.
You're just eating blackberries in the woods and getting the runs because you're just like.
Yeah, that was something we learned in survival school. The berries that you pick off trees, like if you eat too many of those, like if you eat too much rabbit, you'll die. So like you want to catch things, but they don't have enough fat on you to sustain you. So as it turns out, you need fat. You'll actually start going crazy if you just eat rabbit.
Yeah.
Another thing is berries. They're like, don't just live on berries or you will shit all day.
Gotta
like,
dig for earthworms.
Yeah, so I was just as I was running across the landscape at some point, I'm like, I'm just leaving a brown streak of just regret behind me, and I can't stop though because I'm hungry. Eating berries and shitting out the back, but. Yeah, so we're running across the middle of the night trying to get that done. But I don't know. For me, it kind of picked up after that. What do you think?
Yeah, once we found each other, it got to be a lot more fun, which is normal. But we we ended up like finding supplies, and we learned how to make things. We like set up a camp, and we're all sitting around the camp, just like looking into the fire, all thoughtfully, while we think about how the world ended, and it's just the four of us left alive potentially.
And it's just fucking around. Like I think it's just that gaming group is hilarious.
Yeah, and I think partially it might be just like a guy thing. Like we fantasize about like surviving in the woods more because Michael and JT's wife was overhearing it. She's like, "That sounds like the most boring game ever." Because from her, all she's not watching the game, but all she's hearing is like, "Oh, I found a shirt. Great! Like tear it up. We can make rags out of it." And like, "Oh, hey, there's some water here, but it's dirty. We gotta boil it." And it's like, "Okay, let's boil the water." And
I was like,
so excited.
There's a dumpster back here. Oh shit! There's a sandwich. Let's split it up. And we're so excited about it. But I loved it, man. And then there's downtime. Downtime in video games has traditionally, even in tabletop, has been hilarious with our gaming group. We're just so weird, and I like that. Like we just started shooting an arrow at each other's faces.
Oh yeah, we were playing a PvE server, so we couldn't hurt each other, but it's in the pre-alpha, so it still lets us shoot each other. So we were just having target practice with JT's face. There were all these arrows sticking out of it.
David started with, and it happens like in any game. Like I think almost all gamers do this. I mentioned this like on another podcast, but I walked up and I was looking at JT, and I had my axe in my hand. I'm looking at him, and I was like, JT, can we hurt each other? And he goes, no. And I was like, click, and I just wanted to see if it would stop me. Like, can you not even swing like some games, green out the cursor, or is it like you hit him and like nothing happens, or do you hit him and it looks horrible but no damage? And as it turns out, it's the last category. It looks horrible. I hit Tim so hard, his neck went snapping back and blood shot out, and then he was like, "What? Stop, dude! It's annoying." But he wasn't getting hurt.
So JT's walking around with his head. It's like a pincushion of arrows, and there's like an arrow on each nipple and one out of his balls.
He couldn't even get
we're like
through
12-year-old
the door.
boys. The arrows catching him. He couldn't fit through doorways anymore because of all the arrows sticking out of him.
That's hilarious. Anyway,
so we ended up figuring out how to craft things. So I was like, I sharpened a spear out of some metal shards and a stick, and you and I had this like little archery competition. Whenever we see a deer, we'd count down to 3 and see who could shoot it with our bow.
It was fun, and then we got fucking mauled by a bear.
Yeah, so JT wants to check out this radio station on top of a mountain. So we get up there, and there's nothing there. It turned out to be a wasted trip. But on the way back, this bear comes out, and Jeremiah's like, "Oh, it's a bear. I wonder if I can take it down." So he shoots it and then starts running, like attracting his attention, but then realizing that it's a grizzly bear and it will destroy us. So he's fleeing. The bear just destroys JT. JT's like, "Oh no!" He tries to fight it with a fire axe or something.
And the best part is afterwards, Tim was like, "Jeremiah, dude, get Jeremiah's stuff too." I was like, "No, I'm alive." He's like, "You're alive?" And I went, "Yeah, fucking course I ran it. It was a fucking bear."
It's your fault. It was bad.
He's like, "Why did you shoot it?" And I was like, "I want to see if I could." Oh my god.
And so it's chasing Tim, and it's an alpha, so the bear's glitchy, so it's just like warping around. Wherever Tim is, it just kind of like leaps forward to where Tim is, and Tim can't get away. And I'm running behind it with my makeshift spear, and I'm just stabbing the bear in the butt from behind the whole time.
Which is just a stick with scrap metal taped to it. That's how you make it. So he's just like stabbing him with the scrap metal. And I'm just going,
I feel like some kind of Aboriginal warrior just like trying to pack on this bear. Jeremiah's gone. Tim goes down. And then right as Tim dies, I kill the bear, and the bear just kind of melts into the mountain because it's glitchy and buggy. And there's just like a little knapsack where Tim used to be. All of us. I'm like, Tim, I saved you. Where are you? And he's like, "I just died." I'm like, "Oh. I killed the bear though, but we can't eat it because it disappeared." It was like the saddest thing.
Oh my gosh, and it's so glitchy. Like when you run up the side of a mountain, like you don't run any slower than you normally do. So I was like running 90 degrees straight up, like the Flash. It was amazing.
And then Then I like salvaged. I carefully got all the important items off of Tim's like little knapsack he left behind when he died. I'm like, all right, Tim, I'm coming down. And then like the mountain, there's just no way to tell what's walkable and what's not because of how glitchy the platforming is at this point. So
Yeah.
I suddenly lost my footing and came tumbling head over heels like a rag doll down the mountain and died at the base.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Oh man, 10 out of 10 would play again.
10 out of 10. Got mauled by a bear. Would play again.
But it still has those awesome, like, okay, so, in psychology we talk about behaviorism with variable reinforcement ratio schedule, which just means, like, randomly reinforcing someone based on a behavior they do. So checking things and finding really awesome stuff.
Occasionally.
Like, yeah, the military backpacks or, like, the big can of food is so reinforcing. It drives your behavior way up. And so, like, we're going in all the houses looking at stuff, even though 99% of them have nothing.
Right,
But,
and the zombies were not like in DayZ, the zombies would just like warp around and they were just crazy and hard to hit and they would kill you. But the zombies actually move like zombies in this game, and you can reliably shoot them in the head if you need to with a bow and arrow or something. So
Yeah.
like they don't feel it's like how zombies should be, where they're not like a huge threat if there's just one of them, but if you get outnumbered, then you're in trouble.
yeah, and weapons, like, you have to make your own, like, you have to get wooden sticks, like forge wooden sticks and, like, make them into arrows. So, like, if you run out, you're like, well, shit, like, and you just have to run. And then running, it takes fatigue, so it's all about resources, man. Like, it's fun though, like, especially when you, like, oh man, you nail a shot. Like, one time I pulled back a bow and there's this one running at JT, and I just fired off, and he's running, like, horizontally to me, so it wasn't even running at me, and I nailed it in the head. I just freaked out. Man, those moments are great. Bows and arrows in games, like you said, you judged the best weapon of 2014 was the bow?
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, this is plays on that. I have a gun. I have a sniper rifle. It's a 308, and I've got like 5 rounds in it, but I never use it because the bow is so fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. The game's really glitchy. It's still in the pre-alpha, but I think it could potentially be really fun when it's finished.
And that's with a big disclaimer. We did play on the PvE, so no, roaming ganking squads of actual humans.
Right.
We're gonna get our feet under us and figure things out, and then determine if it's look how the community is. If it's toxic like DayZ was, then there's no point. But
can I go on a short little rant here about video game companies making us pay full price for pre-alpha games so we can test their server loads for them?
Yeah, that's shitty.
Like, we're doing you a favor, man. Like, make it a free pre-alpha if you're gonna, like, it's barely playable. We could barely log in, and I'm like, wow, like, I'm glad I didn't spend money on this. I feel bad for JT for having purchased it because I didn't think it would even work. Like, luckily I eventually got in and it was fine, but I really hate companies that are like, oh yeah, you want in? Pay us a lot of money. Like, I'm kind of okay with Here's the Storm, where you could buy your way into the closed beta because that game is pretty much finished.
Yeah, that game is finished. Yeah, for sure.
But like most gamers, it's a disturbing trend. It needs to stop.
Yeah, I totally agree. That is something that used to be a privilege that, like, you got from the company to be a tech alpha person, but it was a privilege that is in, come check out our shitty game, but for free, and it's a privilege to just be able to look at it. But then now that we pay for it, it's really their privilege.
Yeah.
That we're doing that. So I think they need to turn that paradigm around and figure out, how to make us
basically getting part of their profits before the game's done, so that, it's better for them to have the money sooner. It's always better to have money sooner, right? Because you can invest it in something else. So they're getting part of their payoff before the game's done. They're getting free testers. Like, there's no downside for them, and we keep rewarding it by doing it.
Their biggest moment, this is what I heard from a game designer at least, is that, so we got some game designers that listen, you'll have to let me know, but apparently in professional games, their biggest thing, whenever they all just sit there like this, is on opening day. And apparently launch day is huge, like a huge predictor, at least this is what they're saying, on this alpha with real players, and then you're basically everyone's probably bought it before launch day. You just smooth right into launch day, and then all the reviews that come out by professionals are going to be normal. They won't be like couldn't get in, like Diablo 3 got fucked because of that, things like that. Like, that's a huge service we're providing. So
yeah, it's brilliant on their account. I don't blame them for doing it, but I blame us as gamers for enabling that behavior, because we should stop throwing money at these pre-alphas. Like, JT was trying to get me to buy it. I'm like, dude, I don't have a lot of money, and secondarily, I don't want to buy a game while it's in its pre-alpha. I want to wait until it comes out. I want to see what the reviews are. I want to make sure all the bugs are done before I play it.
Yeah,
I don't regret playing it, but I regret that there was money spent on it.
It's like it's like in psychology we say, or at least behaviorists say, don't blame the rat. Basically, the rat is always right. If people are behaving a certain way, it's because of their environment. So it comes from an old experiment where this guy, I think it was Skinner, one of the famous behaviors, he was running this rat through a maze, and then for some reason it wouldn't turn right whenever it was quote unquote supposed to. And he's like, every time you put it in there, it turned left. And he's like, what the heck? The food's on the right. What is wrong with this rat? And then he said, this rat's crazy. They got a new rat. Rat did the same thing. He's like, I think he said, these damn rats won't do what they're supposed to do. If I remember right, that's the quote. And then it was actually a grad student who said, I can't blame the rat. The rat is always right. It's responding to its environment, right? So that's the same thing. I'm not blaming the company. Of course the company's doing that. They're like, wait, you guys will pay for this? Sure.
Right.
So
I do find myself saying the rat's always right in everyday situations and expecting people to know what I mean by that, and then having to go off on a lengthy side story where I'm like, okay, this is what that means.
Yeah. But
so yeah, we played a lot of H1Z1 this morning. Like I don't write again. I think it will be good eventually. I don't recommend you buying it yet because I don't want to reward the behavior of making you pay for pre-alpha. But keep an eye out for it. When it does come out, it might be worth getting.
yeah, and only if you've got a gaming group. I don't know if I'd like this game by myself. I don't think I would at all.
Yeah, I think it's only fun if you're with friends who have I think most people have a group of friends that we've talked over what we do in a zombie survival situation. So if you have a group like that and they're all willing to play with you, you'll have fun.
There's a lot of crafting and survival to it. Zombies are almost an afterthought in the game. It's fun.
But there's a logical consistency of the world. Like there's things where because it's so new, no one really knows how it works yet. Like we were running by and we're looking for clean water, and I saw a fire hydrant, and I was like, "GT, you have a crowbar, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What if you could? I wonder if you can pry off this fire hydrant. Would that have water?" And he's like, "I don't know. I've never tried that." So he comes back, he takes the crowbar, he starts fiddling with the fire hydrant, and sure enough, he pops the top off, and all this water comes off. It's
we
dirty
filled up our
water,
bottles.
but we filled up our bottles, and then we went and boiled it in some fire. Boiled the water to purify it. So.
And you get the thing. This bugs me in a lot of survival games where, like, if you want food, you go to a food market. Like, they're more likely to have food, or a dumpster outside of a food market.
Yeah, we went to a hardware store and found some hammers and crowbars and stuff. Like, it wasn't just randomly generated loot. Like, things make sense where you find them.
Yeah, it does feel like you're really living off the land. That's something JT kept commenting about, and I had to agree. I was like, it really does. It feels like you think logically. You're like, oh man, I'm running out of arrows, and I don't have much ammunition. I'm gonna have to get some arrows. So we got to leave town to find where you can pick up some sticks, some good quality sticks, and then you're like,
and there's more deer out in the woods too. So like everything is where it would make sense for it to be.
Yeah, except that random urban deer we found.
That one was confused. It ran at you like it was.
Yeah, we punched it.
Yeah, it's still glitchy, but overall it does feel like there's a certain consistency to it. I think this might be a fun game for that eventually. But don't buy it yet. Wait until it's done.
Definitely not. But anyway, did you play any other games? That was my big one.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot. So at my job, there's a senior lounge where all the senior high school students get to hang out when they have partial periods. And there always needs to be a teacher in there, so sometimes I'm in there just like, making sure they don't burn the place down or whatever. Yeah. But of late, I've brought my Sentinels of the Multiverse game, and we've been playing that with some of the seniors, instead of doing homework and grading tests like we should be doing with our free period. So that's kind of got me into Sentinels of the Multiverse. I've talked about it before. So I bought the game on Steam, so you can play it on your computer. So it's kind of fun. It's one player, which defeats a lot of the fun of it. They should make it. I'm hoping eventually it goes into online co-op, because that's the whole point of that game is co-op against the villain. Yeah. But it's a faithful translation of the game, and it does a lot of the math and the heavy lifting for you. So you don't have to keep track of all the fiddly bits, like who has +1 to damage and hit point counters and stuff. So I think I don't know if it's worth getting yet, but I think eventually it'll be a fun game to buy for people who are into cooperative card game.
Huh, okay. That's nice. I don't like the game enough to play it single player, but yeah, I can see that, especially if you're playing it on your off hour. Mm. That's fun. Any other games?
Just always with my we've been playing Heroes of the Storm as usual, and I've been playing Spider-Man Endless Run. I think I might have a problem. I've probably spent like $50 on it with microtransactions, because it's got that you use the currency by microtransactions to buy random Spider-Man packs, and you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's got that whole like Magic the Gathering booster pack thing where it's like, oh, am I gonna get a rare? Oh, I got a legendary. So it's got that kind of random reward thing where it's just impossible to resist. And they do these. I don't normally buy them, but sometimes I'll wake up and there'll be a flash sale where you get like an extra 150% for your buck, and I'm like, man, I can't afford not to drop $20 on this.
Yeah.
So I need to stop. But I'm having fun with that game, so I don't begrudge it the money, but I probably need to stop.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm I've been playing a lot of Heroes too because of it's like a double X or 1.5 times XP thing. So
Mm.
I'm playing quite a bit of that, but we've already talked about that. So I guess we can move on to the actual show.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you guys on the other side.